OnePlus 5T, which Honor had no issue throwing just a bit of shade at recently. With the Honor 7X, you're getting what is arguably the best phone in this price range. It goes for just $200 and it packs quite a punch. On the outside, it actually fits in pretty well with the modern smartphone aesthetic with the taller display, dual cameras, and things like that. It's really not a bad looking phone at all, and in terms of build quality, I was genuinely impressed with its solid aluminum construction. I was also impressed to see a headphone jack on the bottom, which is really nice to have, but I was not impressed that this phone uses micro USB, which is something the tech world is obviously trying to phase out. I mean, it was even a surprise to me on last year's Honor 6X, but it's not the end of the world, and I still have loads of micro USB cables lying around, as I'm sure a lot of people do. But it was a bit embarrassing when I forgot it didn't have USB-C and I tried charging the phone with a Type-C cable. So front and center is a 5.93-inch 1080p IPS LCD display, and it's really cool to see a phone in this price range take on the 18:9 aspect ratio. It's actually pretty crisp and clear, the colors are decent, and while I wouldn't say it's a great panel, it's really not bad at all, and I didn't see any real issues with it. Now, when talking about performance and software, in my experience, it was pretty much exactly what I expected, especially from an Honor device. Honor phones do have a good reputation for being very solid devices in terms of performance, and the 7X is no exception. Aside from the occasional budget phone hiccup and choppy animation, the phone runs smoothly overall, and it accomplishes everything I need it to. It's a pretty quick device. Quickness also applies to the fingerprint reader on the back, and by now everyone should know that fingerprint readers on Huawei and Honor devices are among some of the fastest out there. Now, this one in particular isn't the most accurate, but it reads my fingerprint more often than not, and I haven't had any real problems with it. And while I'm still on the topic of performance, I obviously have to mention the battery life. Well, with a 3,340 mAh battery, the 7X gets me through a day of use no sweat. And the best part is that it sips battery life when I'm not using the phone, so no battery drainage here. I put the phone through my normal testing, and overall I was impressed with how well it kept up. It's great for just about anything and everything, playing games, social media, watching TV shows and movies, and that bottom firing speaker's not too bad either. Sure, it's a bit tinny, but it can get pretty loud and it's definitely usable. Quickly touching on the software, we are looking at Android 7.0 Nougat with EMUI 5.1 slapped on top as of the recording of this video. Now, it's not my favorite Android skin, and in fact there are quite a lot of aspects of this skin that just don't look too good at all, to be honest, but it's not horrible. And of course, I quickly downloaded the Pixel launcher to help things out a bit. But like I said, EMUI isn't horrible, and it actually has some pretty useful things like navigation button customization. You can use the fingerprint scanner for gestures, there's Smart Assistant with a floating dock, a one-handed mode, and more. And you'll also find an absolute boatload of features in the camera app, as well as a pretty in-depth setting system. Which leads me to what tends to be the Achilles heel of smartphones, especially in this price range, and that is the cameras. Sometimes on these types of phones, they're not even worth using. But I am pleased to say that the cameras on the 7X are usable. You're looking at a 16 megapixel main shooter, a 2 megapixel secondary lens to help out with portrait shots, and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. Now, they're not perfect, and I wouldn't compare the results you get with just regular shooting or portrait shots with what you can get on a Galaxy, an iPhone, and especially the Pixel. Pictures do tend to be a bit soft, sometimes they lack in color, and you can pretty much forget about low-light selfies. So while results are more hit or miss than anything, again, they are usable and you really can't complain because of what the phone costs. And that's really the theme of this device. The 7X does lack things like water resistance, quick charging, wireless charging, you still have to deal with micro USB to charge the phone, and there's no sign of NFC or a Gorilla Glass coating on the display. But you gotta remember, the phone starts at $200, and it has a couple things that some much more expensive phones don't even have, like a headphone jack and expandable storage. If you can spare the extra few $100, I'd say you're better off going for something like the OnePlus 5T. But if that's just not an option and you're really looking to stick around this price range, if you're looking for a phone that can get the job done in pretty much every aspect, all while looking to keep up with the 18:9 movement, which a lot of budget phones are behind in, then the Honor 7X is definitely worth a shot. So what do you guys think of the Honor 7X? Will you be picking one up? Go ahead and let us know down below in the comment section. As always, we love to hear your feedback. But anyway, that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the Android Police channel if you haven't already. That does it for me. I will talk to you guys later, and thank you so much for watching.